Hello everybody, this is Mono here once again with another video, and this is something that you probably wouldn't have expected because I don't normally do things like this, but this is giving you kind of a preview and, how I kind of make these custom maps, because I know that not very many of you even know that I do make custom maps. If any of you know that I do make custom maps, well, I do, so there's that thing. They're not exactly the most popular custom maps in the world, but as you can see, I've got something going here a little bit. I think that I finally struck the formula that I really, really, really need for custom map. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have tried doing this a ton of times. I've only released 2 custom maps, or 3 if you count that really unpopular one nobody cares about, but 3... I only count 2. They're both horror maps, and they're both supposed to be the same thing. But basically because I kept getting better and better at making custom maps, and more features kept getting added into the game, I never really continued making either of them, and I started over, but both of them have the same concept. And that's what I'm doing here again, because I think I finally know what I'm doing now. So, this is basically a super flat world that I've taken and cut out a little rectangular area of a normal world. I made a little path, I put a house in this little thing, and pasted it around this and flipped it so that none of the sides look the same, so that it basically looks like you're inside of a giant rectangle of jungle, or taiga, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, obviously it's not jungle, but you can't actually tell that it's, a super flat biome from looking in it. And obviously I wanted to save you the boringness of having to look at that, because that's not the most exciting thing in the world, looking at somebody copying and pasting and using the same block over and over and trying to figure out how to build a house. No, this is going to be a little example of basically how I do the redstone stuff. Oh yeah, and the sprinting flying. I'm so happy they added that in 1.8. That would help so much. Like, look how fast I'm going. You used to not be able to go this fast, like, at all, and now you can finally do it like you could in the Xbox edition. But this is just going to be me putting down little trees and stuff like that. But the more interesting part is going to be the redstone. So, I have tried time and time again to do this properly, and the very first few times I did it, I probably made 5 or 6 custom maps that never got released, just because they were so bad. And, I mean, they weren't really bad, it's just that they weren't good. Like, they weren't good at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were good for first attempts, but they would not have, stood with the public very well. They were not fit for being released to the public in any sort of way at all. So, I just opted to not release them, because that would have just destroyed what I was trying to do. I probably would have never ever released another one ever again, just because I know I probably would have got a lot of hate for that. Like, releasing a half-finished, crappy horror map that no one will ever care about. I can't get over here from this, right? Yeah, but also another thing that you have to ensure is that you cannot get out of your boundaries. If you can get out of your boundaries, that's bad, and that's what I've made sure to not do so far. So I'm just gonna go ahead and plant some trees, taigal trees, in fact. Like the positioning of this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. So, I mean, you can see that this is a pretty rigorous process, and it's probably very boring to watch, but I'm just doing this anyway, just because. Why not to record this? I don't know. I've wanted to make another custom map for a while now, and I decided to just do this. So here's a little tour of the house that I built. Obviously, it's not, the best thing in the world, because I'm gonna spend more time on the actual features of my map than the super architect building. This is just the basement. I haven't, I'm not going to keep these lights here because this is going to be a horror map, if you don't know already, because I haven't explained that. And of course, this area is going to be like this. Now, I haven't made the resource pack yet, but I'm going to go over how you do that in just a minute. And hopefully you will learn a few things, but maybe you won't, and maybe you just don't care. So, I guess I'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, what I'm planning to do with the texture pack so far, aside from the a billion thousand other things that I'm planning to do with it, is I'm going to make this roof, and yeah, I didn't actually do this part. I'm lazy. You just can't see it from up here, so why do it anyway? But I'm going to make this sandstone color, the new red sandstone, a grayish color, so that it matches, you know, what the color of a roof would normally be. And I'm going to make this color the sort of concrete color you normally get in a driveway. So let's do that. Alright, so this is what my desktop looks like. You've probably never seen this before, but, you know, whatever. It's how it looks, so deal with it. And yes, I am using XSplit for this because, you know, I wouldn't be able to record Windows 8 otherwise, but I've just got a resource pack template in here right now. Now, of course, this isn't mine. This is our 3D craft, but, you know, or Red Craft, or however you want to say it. But I've deleted all of the textures and stuff just so that this was for a, you know, test before. You can probably tell what I was trying to do just because there's a skin where the armor should be. But what I'm going to do now is you have to have this pack.mc meta file. If you click on it, you open it with Notepad, you just put this stuff in here. You can just use another texture pack for now and delete everything that's in here. Assets, Minecraft, textures. And this is basically what's in the real .minecraft, the real actual jar in the versions folder. So I'm just going to use 1.8 for this because I really don't feel like using another version, considering this is what I am doing for this, and 7-zip comes pre-installed on Windows 8, so why not just use it anyway, even though Windows 8 sucks. So let's go in here and see, this is what I'm actually going off of. All you have to do is look at these. You can replace anything that's in here at all. Anything that's in this Minecraft folder, in the assets folder, you can replace, and that's what I'm doing with the textures. Now, I'm gonna use a program called Paint.net, and I honestly don't have the time to tell you how to install it, but hey, I mean, you can just look it up. Just go to Paint.net. Honestly, it's not very... Don't go to Paint.net, not the website. Just look up Paint.net and download it, and there's an actual easy installation process. So, I'm just going to... Okay, it's red sandstone bottom, red sandstone bottom, and red sandstone normal. I'm both going to open in Paint.net, which is just as simple as doing that. And I'm just gonna replace the whole entire thing with just a gray texture, like this. Pull up the color wheel by pressing F8 because for some reason it's not here. So, let's see. Does this look like the color of a roof? That looks more like it. So, now all I have to do is deselect that. Go into the effects, add noise. Now, color saturation I really don't need here. And turn the intensity down. And go to the photo and add a vignette, or a vignette, or however you want to pronounce it. Just do that, so that it looks a little bit more 3D-ish. You can learn how to do all this stuff, by the way. It's not too difficult. That's why I'm using it, because this is a really, really, really good program, considering, you know, how it doesn't really have... It's free, so there's that. That's really surprising, considering that, you know, programs like this don't really normally... They're not free. But I'm just going to add a sort of blackness to this. Now, I really don't know why my color wheel keeps going away, but I'm going to fix that. So, I'm just going to make a little dark line here. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit transparent so that it doesn't look like that. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually save this file like this. I'm going to go into this one and I'm going to select this whole entire thing. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it. And, of course, I'm going to not select that, and I accidentally did this weird thing where I drew that, so since this is the bottom, I'm not going to do that, so instead of just doing that, I'm going to lighten this up a little bit so it doesn't look like I did something incredibly weird with it. So, there we go. There are the two textures, the red sandstone normal and the red sandstone bottom, and now all I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file. Now, I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to name it when I save it, which honestly actually looks like concrete. And all I'm going to do is add a bit of noise. And that's going to be... yeah, the diorite. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to find what the diorite is called in here. stone diorite. Or no, it was stone diorite smooth. So I'm going to save this as stone diorite smooth. This is where I get all my thumbnails from, by the way. Or not where I get them from, because I get them from myself, but this is where they're all in. They're just in this messy place in my .minecraft, which I really should probably change that, but hey, whatever, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to go into the folder that's in here, which is resource pack template. Where the heck is that at? Here it is. I'm going to go in here, go into assets, Minecraft textures, go into blocks, and save this in here as a PNG file because that's what's compatible with Minecraft. So now, for some reason, these are in here, so I'm just going to move them in there. So, this is what the blocks look like. Now, all I have to do is go into my .minecraft, go into my resource packs folder, and drag the resource pack template in here, which I already have done, but I'm going to replace it anyway because let's just pretend I've never done this before. So, just copy this, paste it in there, and go to your resource packs and change it to whatever that is. Like that. And no, I'm not using anything from R3Dcraft except for, you know, the actual file that makes it a thing. So now, as you can see, this has a kind of, you know, concrete texture to it, and the roof looks absolutely terrible, so I'm gonna go ahead and change that. It doesn't look too Actually, I could get away with that. I could totally get away with it looking like that. Because you're not ever going to be able to see that. I'm probably going to change that. Just, that was a little example of how you can do stuff like that. So I'm going to change that and not have it like that. There. Much, 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 much better. Now, that still looks kind of bad. I'm probably going to change that later. And the top still looks like this. But just as an example for now, that's what I'm going to keep it as. I'm also probably going to change this a little bit. But that's a basic thingy on what I'm doing. So, let's see how this goes. So, bye.